अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. Nazreen Adab. Thank you very much for joining us for this special webinar on Sir Syed's Aligarh Mission and Women Empowerment. And I am honored to be the host for this evening. I express my gratitude to Dr. Khaja M. Shahid Sahab, who has initiated this noble and wonderful webinar. And especially the theme is so appropriate. You know, the people, they consider always that Muslim women are not empowered and they are suppressed. But here we are going to discuss in details that how Sir Syed's Aligarh Mission has empowered the women. And the beauty of this webinar is that we all are here women, those who have achieved the milestones in their own field. And they are going to share their experiences and their tribute. They are going to pay their tribute to their founder, Janab Sir Syed Ahmad Khan Sahab. Before I begin and invite the first speaker, let me invite Khaja Shahid Sahab to say a few words as inaugural speech. Janab Khaja Shahid Sahab.
Thank you, Dr. Halima Sadia. I really did not intend to speak much or to speak anything at all. My idea of this webinar was to listen all the distinguished ladies who have their education in Aligarh Muslim University and AMU's Women College. I know all of them personally, and I know they all are very distinguished ladies and they have achieved a lot in their personal career and their profession and their personal life. Starting with Sana. Sana is youngest of all of us in this group, in this discussing group. She did her engineering from AMU's Engineering College, and now she's working as a professional in a corporate world. She's a blogger. She writes on a blog, and her blogs are very popular. And I have heard her on different occasions in different personal gatherings and otherwise, and she holds an opinion on issues, and she conveys herself very forcefully and effectively. So welcome, Sana. And I'm sure that your contribution will be very meaningful today. Then we have Mariam Fawzia Rahman, another distinguished Algerian, much younger. All of you are younger to me. So Mariam is again a distinguished Zohar of Delhi. She is the Joint Secretary of AMU Old Boy Association of Delhi. She's very active in Delhi's alumni programs and activities. Otherwise also, she is active on social issues during CAA and other issues. She was active in Jamia Millia and around. I have seen her speaking. I have seen her working for the Women Cause and human rights and other social activities. So Fawzia is a practicing lawyer and a very successful lawyer of Delhi High Court and Supreme Court, of course. Welcome, Fawzia, and I'm sure that you will enjoy today's discussion.
Thank you.
Then we have Salma Jafri. I am introduced to her through her brothers. One of her distinguished brother was Professor Jafri, who was a professor of English in Jamia Millia Islamia. He is no more, unfortunately, but a dear friend of mine. His another brother, Professor Jafri, is a professor of history in Delhi University. But that's not her introduction. That's not her introduction. I have known her because of her writing in Tehzibul Akhlaq. I met her through Tehzibul Akhlaq. And anybody who has read her writing in Tehzibul Akhlaq, of course, वो उर्दू में लिखती हैं, मगर इतना अच्छा लिखती हैं कि मुझे लगता है कि वो जो अब वुमेन कॉलेज के जो भी बयान करती हैं, इतना डिस्क्रिप्शन इतना अच्छा करती हैं कि वो शख्सियतें हैं, चाहे आमना किशोर हों, चाहे प्रोफेसर हमीदा अहमद हों, चाहे उस्बत के और दूसरे साथी हों, वो उसको इतने अच्छे खूबसूरती से बयान करती हैं. तो इनके कदम में इतनी ताकत है कि वो उस समा को, सीन को, उस वक्त को अच्छे तरीके से बयान कर देती हैं अपने करके. और एक बात मैं ये भी कह दूँ कि जो इश्यूज पे लिखती हैं, ये अपने वक्त में वुमेन्स कॉलेज की जो मैगजीन थी उसके एडिटर भी थी. इन्होंने इंटरव्यू भी दिए हैं लोगों के, और वो इंटरव्यू अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो आपको अंदाजा हो किस तरीके से इन्होंने सवाल जवाब करके ऐसे इश्यूज के ऊपर लोगों को प्रोब किया है जो हमारे लिए हमारी ज़िंदगी में बड़े अहम होते हैं. सो Salma is like a younger sister to me, and I welcome her. When I spoke to her, she willingly agreed to participate in this webinar, and I'm happy that she's here today with us. Professor Naima Buldes, I know her for many years, a very distinguished person and a very able administrator. And all of you who have an education in the AMU and Women College, now she's heading that Women College, where all of you have studied. She's shaping the future of thousands and thousands of young girls coming from Muslim families and non-Muslim families also, and shaping their future life, shaping their career, shaping their personal life. She's involved in such an important, I may be allowed to say, task of building a future generations of our country, future generation of our community. So welcome, Professor Naima, and I'm sure that you will be meeting a lot of old girls of your institution, and I think you will be very happy to see them doing well in their respective professional lives. Am I audible or not?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Then I'll talk lastly about Dr. Hazima Sadia, because she is today the host of also and a speaker also. So Dr. Hazima Sadia was a principal in an Indian school in Dubai and had a very distinguished academic career there. Then she finally came to Delhi and started involving herself in not many educational and promotional activities. Then she is joined as Deputy Director of Education in Delhi government, and wanted to set up a number of schools in minority concentrated area. That project, I think she gave shape to that project, and we all hope that one day that project will see the light of the day. Dr. Hazima Sadia is active on social media. Her programs are available on YouTube, watched by thousands and hundreds of persons, and she is an opinion maker, and through her activities, she is promoting the very different women causes, including education and social reform. So I thought I must do this job of introducing the panelists and then let them speak. Let me hear. I'm here to hear the topic. As Sadia has said, that Sir Sayyid's or Radical Movement's contribution to women empowerment. I do not want to say much on this topic. We have experts, we have persons who have really lived through that Sir Sayyid movement, and during their stay at AMU, they have gone through that process. जैसे गाजिब कहते हैं ना कि आग का दरिया है, डूब के जाना है, तो उसमें से वो डूब के निकले हैं, उसी सर सैयद मूवमेंट से मतलब डुबकियां लगा के निकले हैं. तो इसलिए मैं उसके बारे इस टॉपिक में कुछ नहीं कहूँगा, लेकिन इतना उनसे जरूर कहूँगा कि भाई आज आप लोगों को इस टॉपिक को बोलना है जिस पे लोग सर सैयद पे सबसे ज्यादा एतराज करते हैं. सबसे ज्यादा सर सैयद पे एतराज अगर होता है तो ये होता है कि सर सैयद ने लड़कियों की तालीम के लिए कुछ नहीं किया. और शेख अब्दुल्ला साहब ने तो अपनी किताब में लिख ही दिया कि जब भी मैं सर सैयद से लड़कियों की तालीम के बारे में बात करता था तो वो मुझे झड़क देते थे या आई मीन डिस्करेज करते थे. He never encouraged me on women education. अब पापा भी आज अभी लिख रहे हैं तो फिर सोचने की बात होती है कि सर सैयद और सर सैयद की तहरीरें कुछ और हैं, कुछ और भी हमारे सामने है. बहरहाल ये सब आप ही लोग बोलेंगे, आप ही लोग समझेंगे, आप लोग बताएंगे, अपने तजर्बों से बताएंगे और सर सैयद की तहरीरों से बताएंगे और उनकी तहरीकों से बताएंगे, या वुमेन्स कॉलेज में जो कुछ हुआ है आप लोगों ने उससे गुजरे हैं उससे बताएंगे. सो आई स्टॉप हियर एंड द फोरम इज ओपन बोथ इन उर्दू एंड इंग्लिश. तो आप जो जिस जबान में बोलना चाहें और जिस जबान में कन्वे करना चाहें अपनी बात को होगा. अगर सादिया मौका देगी तो बाद में कुछ और लोग जो ऑडियंस होंगे या सुनने वाले होंगे या देखने वाले होंगे वो अपने कमेंट्स या सवाल जवाब आपसे कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच ऑल ऑफ यू एंड वेलकम एंड ओवर टू यू.
Thank you very much, Khaja Shahid Sahab. And you have given us the opportunity to speak from our experiences. Really, you are following the footprints of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan by empowering the women today in this forum. So thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me acknowledge my gratitude to the organizers. This program is organized by Sir Syed Mission, All India Educational Movements, and Shokatara Educational Trust. And we are grateful to all these three organizations. As we all know that our first speaker is Sana Khan, and already sir has introduced Sana Khan. Still, I would like to say that Sana Khan is a working professional and she is a promising a youth who works as a business analyst in Tata Consulting Services, and she has done her BTech from AMU, Masters in Business Management from University of Scotland. So she is a member of Toastmasters International Public Speaking Forum, and she writes blogs and she writes on the matters concerns to the society. So with due regards and respect and lots of love, I would like to invite Ms. Sanaha, who is by profession an engineer and corporate professional and blogger. Over to you, Sana.
Unmute करें Sana.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. It is my biggest honor to speak today on the occasion of Sir Syed Day. Like the rest of you, I'm a very proud Aligerian, and I'm extremely grateful to Aligarh for giving me the 4 most beautiful and unforgettable years of my life. Since today, we are also talking about the importance of women education and empowerment, also the role AMU has played in it. The fact that we have got so many accomplished women in our audience as well as speakers provides a testimony to the foundation that was led by the great Sir Syed Ahmad Khan with regards to female education. His critics, however, as we know, argue that there were no dedicated efforts made by Sir Syed to bring women out of the dire state they were in, marked by lack of education, inequality, and marginalization. It is believed that Sir Syed, like the Britishers, was an advocate of the trickle-down effect theory, according to which any policies or reforms should first benefit the upper section of the society, and the benefits would eventually trickle down to the lower sections. When it came to education, his critics are of the view that Sir Syed promoted the need of modern and scientific education only among the male members of the Muslim community. He felt that once the men were educated, they would in turn educate their female relatives. Now, in today's day and age, these ideals don't exactly match with those of feminism or gender equality. But we should keep in mind, we are talking about the India back in 19th century, when the overall literacy rate was somewhere between 3 to 7%, and the female literacy rate was even less than 1%. It was then that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan encouraged the Muslim youth to give equal importance to both scientific and Islamic knowledge.
Sana का video नहीं आ रहा है. Is it? Am I noticing?
No, this video is there. She's very much on the screen.
Okay, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, he said that education was for all, both men and women alike. And unlike his contemporaries, who believed that women should only be excellent homemakers, Sir Syed held the idea that women should be taught beyond home science. Although it could not be achieved in his lifetime, but a school dedicated towards female education was founded in 1906 by Dr. Sheikh Abdullah and his wife Wahid Jahan Begum, few years after the demise of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, which with passage of time flourished into the Women's College of today. At present, nearly 3,000 girls from all over India and overseas study there in 32 different courses offered by various faculties like arts, commerce, sciences, and many more. Over the years, women of AMU have become more and more politically active, career-driven, and financially independent. AMU has also played a very big role to help us define our attitude, realize our self-worth, and take pride in who we are as Muslims and as women. In my opinion, what truly makes a woman feel empowered is when she does not have to compromise on her religious beliefs to pursue her personal or professional goals. And what really sets AMU apart from the rest is that you can freely do your hijab or niqab without being discriminated, unlike at other places where some people might have a wrong notion against the Islamic attire. It also goes without saying how strong-headed and determined the women of AMU are. We all are witnesses to their strength and resilience and the role they played during CA and RC protests, where they stood shoulder to shoulder with men in the fight for justice. The education and guidance provided by AMU have helped us women to shatter the glass ceiling and do our bit in changing the narrative around how Muslim women are perceived in general by the society. However, there's a lot more that needs to be done by AMU to become the flag bearer of women empowerment and gender equality. Back in 2012, when I was doing my engineering from Aligarh, there was very little female representation in the students' union body. And even among the teaching staff, we hardly found any female occupying the higher positions like head of department, principal, or dean. Although the finance officer of the university that time was a woman, which was very inspiring, but AMU has the potential to create many more female leaders. And who knows, maybe someday we might even see a female VC, inshallah. The other factor that I think is very important to create an environment where our girls feel confident and powerful is for their male colleagues and batchmates to cheer for them, encourage them, and support them. Engineering, for an example, is a very male-dominated field, and the female to male ratio is usually very low. So a young girl might end up feeling intimidated. Also, there are always few naughty boys in the college who would hoot when a girl walks by. This was the situation 7 to 8 years ago when I studied there. But since I still travel to Aligarh every year to meet my Nanhyal, I have observed that things have improved and changed for the better. However, I strongly feel that both boys and girls from an early age should be taught about respecting and collaborating with each other's gender, values of inclusiveness, acceptance, and openness, so that they not only grow into successful professionals, but also caring, compassionate, respectful, inquisitive, and knowledge-seeking human beings. In the end, I would like to say a quote by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan: "Sons of the college shall go forth the length and breadth of the land to preach the message of free inquiry, large-hearted tolerance, and pure morality." Being a woman and alumni of AMU, I would like to take the liberty to tweak this quote a little bit. Sons and daughters of AMU shall go forth the length and breadth of the land to preach the message of free inquiry, large-hearted tolerance, and high morality. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Sana Haq, and it was really a very well presented address. And congratulations, Sana, for presenting such beautiful points here, and it was really marvelous. I must thank you for being with us. Thank you very much, Sana. And it was spoken from the heart that has reached to the hearts. And now our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is Advocate Miss Mariam Fawzia Rahman. Miss Mariam Fawzia Rahman is an advocate who is practicing before the Supreme Court of India and various high courts for over 16 years. She has done her BA LLB honors degree from Aligarh Muslim University And she is the recipient of many awards, and her profile is quite long. But due to considering the time constraint, I would like to invite Ms. Mariam Fawzia Rahman, social justice lawyer, to kindly present her address. So Ms. Mariam, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Dr. Halima Sadia, for welcoming and such a humble, I humbly accept to be on this platform. There are wonderful speakers today who I'm sharing this platform with. I first of all want to thank Dr. Khwaja Shahid, who never forgets to give me an opportunity to come and share my views whenever it is about Aligarh Muslim University. And today, the topic is very close to all of us and to our hearts. As we just saw Sana Haq speaking elaborately on so many things that Sir Syed had highlighted, I think I would take this opportunity and with gratitude in my heart, I would say that Halima chose a picture where I'm wearing those sunglasses. So going forward, why I'm mentioning that today is when I went to Aligarh Muslim University, I could actually take those glasses off and see what a woman can see through her own eyes and flourish in the world.
Great.
Apart from that, जैसे कि ख्वाजा शाहिद साहब ने कहा, he has given me that open hand on the dialect. Urdu became very close to my heart when I joined Aligarh Muslim University. And definitely there's so many things with Sir Syed's own university and own language which teaches us. When we go back to the university, automatically there is something which is very close to our heart again, is the poetry and the shairi that I would want to begin with. This beautiful nazm called Aurat by Kaifi Azmi. Today when we talk about women empowerment, I'm sure all of you must have heard it, but today, just to make this more thrilling, I would just like to say few lines from the same prose. कद्र अब तक तेरी तारीख ने जानी ही नहीं, तुझ में शोले भी हैं बस आशिकानी ही नहीं, तू हकीकत भी है दिलचस्प कहानी ही नहीं, तेरी हस्ती भी है एक चीज जवानी ही नहीं, अपनी तारीख का उन्वान बदलना है तुझे, उठ मेरी जान मेरे साथ चलना है तुझे.
बहुत खूब.
So another para which is again beautiful. तू फला तू अरास्तू है जोहरा परवीन, तू कब्जे में है गर्द तेरी ठोकर में नहीं जमीन, हाँ उठ जल्द उठ पाए मुकद्दर से जबी, मैं भी रुकने का नहीं वक्त भी रुकने का नहीं, लड़खड़ाएगी कहाँ तक कि संभलना है तुझे, उठ मेरी जान मेरे साथ चलना है तुझे.
बहुत.
It's been beautifully translated in English too, and I'm sure you all know where I come from when I say this quotation. I think that the moment you join Aligarh Muslim University, you feel that you yourself feel that empowerment. You yourself feel that honor that you're a part of a university where you're walking hand in hand and you are sharing that platform to be equally important as your brothers and sisters and equally important as Aligarhians are. The term Aligarhian itself imbibed that empowerment in you. The vision that Sir Syed had at that point of time when he was establishing this university, I don't think so that many of us will deny being a part of it, that we actually enrich and we actually feel proud of it, to be a part of Aligarh Muslim University. And we can proudly say that we want to take the Sir Syed Aligarh mission forward by empowering it and by even organizing not only such talks, but doing so much that Sir Syed has dreamt of. When we talk about Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, we all know that he was a strong supporter of women's right to education, as seen by his views on Muslim personal law. Being a lawyer, it is important for me to give a few highlights on the Muslim personal law, where he disagreed sharply from other Muslim academics on very important issues like divorce, women's rights, and he strongly opposed the domestic abuse against women. I don't know how many of us know this fact about Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, but the fact that the girls' school was founded at Aligarh Muslim University or at Aligarh within a decade after his death, attest to his ideas, age, and his vision. Definitely, it is not an exaggeration when I say that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's vision and efforts to educate women in India, exemplified by the Aligarh Muslim University itself. Many scholars have pointed towards the fact that Syed Ahmad Khan's reformist ideology had no place for women in them, which is not true. Just now, Khwaja Shahid Saab has mentioned few very important names where he's highlighted that they would disagree. But I would agree to disagree that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, in fact, gave us this platform that we are today on. And therefore, it comes as no surprise when his educational reforms are also labeled as being male centric. However, one needs to examine the context in which Sir Syed lived and was a part of. Many scholars like David, Gale, and Mushirul Hassan have examined the life and contributions of Sir Syed, but very little research has been done, unfortunately, on his views about educating Muslim women and especially Muslim women. This is probably because most of the works on Sir Syed are too quick to label him as someone who was against women's education. So let's not keep our vision intact to that. But if we do more research, you will find that Sir Syed's vision of education for the Muslim women, it had to be a combination of the sciences as well as the humanities, in fact. He was somebody who dreamt even ahead of what we are today. I think 10 years from now, we would know more about his vision and mission and that he's planned for us what we see today. He advocated the teaching of a little bit of everything to Muslim women and not just home science, etc. He believed that logic and reasoning should be given preference over tradition and religious dogmas. Now, even when we talk about the recognition of women's rights, coming back to the women's rights and other things in Islam, it was also included in Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's reformist program. If we dig deeper, he considered it as a sign of decline and degeneration of the Muslim community of his time that it had always had the political will to implement women's God-given rights. In fact, including their right to equal opportunity alongside Muslim men in the field of education as well as empowerment. Sorry. As pointed out by W.C. Smith, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan sought to overthrow the notions that Islam could not permit women of secularism, parda, nor recognize the duty of women's education. And he talked elaborately about it. And there were several notions which he overdid. Now, when we talk again about Sir Syed Ahmad Khan believing in modern education for girls, it was a precondition for the development of Muslim society, which is even today as a whole. He urged the student body of Aligarh Muslim University to recognize the necessity of educating girls. He indeed said, if you really work to seek to elevate the social position of the people, you need to educate the women. There's a very important quote when they say that if you want to educate an entire family, you please educate one woman of that family. And I think the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was very content and was very confined to the fact that while he was educating and empowering the men, he also focused in contributing to the education of women when he rightly said, talked about the elevation of the social position of the society and the Muslim community. In fact, as a progressive leader, Sir Syed opposed superstitions and evil customs against women in the society. He stressed on not just Indian Muslims, but all the Indians attaining education and scientific knowledge to ensure their progress and advocated modernism and pragmatism. In fact, there are a lot of publishings. He also published articles on sati There are articles on widow remarriage, female infanticide, child marriage, women inheritance rights, dowry and divorce, and often challenge these practices time and again. I would like to talk about the broader perspective of how Sir Syed contributed to even contribute to the social reforms and eradicate the social evils from the society, apart from definitely spreading education. Having said that, I have a bad throat and I am slightly down with fever, but I would like to concentrate and say this last words from Sahil Ludhianvi Sahab, where he says, पहुंच कर अश्क पर अपनी आंखों से मुस्कुराओ तो कोई बात बने, सर झुकाने से कुछ नहीं होगा, सर उठाओ तो कोई बात बने.
बहुत खूब.
आज अगर मैं फक्र से सर उठाकर चलती हूँ, वो शायद उसमें बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी का. इनफैक्ट व्हेन आई वाज little bit share about my personal life and personal experience. When I was actually trying to seek admission in Aligarh Muslim University in BA LLB honors, there were a lot of people. I belong to a very small town called Najibabad in district Bijnor. A lot of them, they came to meet my father and they said that you're enrolling your daughter into law, a profession which definitely requires her to move out of this town. And definitely I did my schooling from boarding school in Missouri, Ogro School. So I was already away. My father said, no, I think I'm giving her those wings where she would, if you say that she's been in Missouri and she's been a little more modernized, I'm rather sending her to Aligarh Muslim University to come back to her roots and to work for her own community and society. So in fact, I feel very proud today that there are these people, these friends of my father, these people in my society and my community, when they come back to me when I'm in my hometown. In fact, I'm speaking today from Najibabad. I'm here at my hometown today. They come back to meet me along with their daughters who are growing up and they want to pursue medical, they want to pursue law, and they're very kind and humble to take me as their inspiration. And I feel proud of it that was the right time when so many fathers took the right decision to send their daughters to Aligarh Muslim University or to educate their daughters in so many other universities. That is where the women empowerment comes from. It comes from each and every family, each and every home, and each and every daughter when she's being educated. So I would urge and I would say that all of us should join hands and we should focus not only on women empowerment, but women education. And automatically you will see the wonderful change that a woman can bring to a society. As they say, that शहर का तब्दील होना, शाद रहना और उदास, रौनकें जितनी यहाँ हैं, औरतों के दम से हैं.
बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब. Mashallah, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mariam Fawzia Rahman, who has so beautifully addressed us on the theme that Sir Syed's Aligarh movement and women empowerment. And she herself is an example of women empowerment. The way she has expressed her ideas, the way she is dealing in day-to-day affairs, and the way she has brought into those aspects that was like some of them were unknown to us. So as Sir Syed as a social reformer and his views on the sati, his views on child marriage and dowry and divorce and all other aspects. So thank you very much, Mariam ma'am, for elaborating all these points, and may God bless you on this.
Thank you.
And now our next speaker is from UK, and already Khaja Shahid sir has explained to us that how he is greatly impressed by his writings. Let me introduce Ms. Salma Jafri, Sayyida Salma Jafri, who has studied at Aligarh Muslim University in 1985 and got Umar Al Khayyam AMU Gold Medals awarded by then President of India, Gyani Zail Singh, in the university convocation, which was held in the same year. So she topped in MA in Persian literature. Congratulations, ma'am. She was the editor of Abdullah Hall magazine. She was actively participating in all the social activities, including interviews of prominent educationists during her tenure in Abdullah Hall. and British national living with, she is a British national living with husband and has been working in an early years nursery practitioner since 20 years now. And she is regularly contributing in various magazines, especially in Tahzibul Akhlaq and other magazines as well, and newspapers. So I would like to request Ms. Salma Jafri, the social activist, an educationist and an author, to kindly express her views. Over to you, Salma ma'am.
उनको अनम्यूट करिए।
जी,
सलमा मैम
करती
को
है।
अनम्यूट।
Yes, she is the co-host. Yes. मैम आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए।
मैम आपको अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा।
अच्छा अच्छा
हाँ,
हो गया।
जी
जी।
जी जी
जी जी। तो अस्सलाम वालेकुम मोअज़्ज़ज़ शुरकाए महफिल, और ये लम्हात मेरे लिए हद दर्जा बाइस एजाज़ और इकराम है कि आज इस तारीखी महफिल में गुफ्तगू करने का मौका मिला, बल्कि यूं कहना मुनासिब होगा कि बाइस फ़ख्र मुबाहात हैं। बानी दरसगाह सर सैयद अलैहि रहमा एक जामिउल हैसियत और जामिउल अतराफ शख्सियत के मालिक हैं। आपकी तारीफ व तौसीफ में कलम आजिज है, और आपकी आलमी तहरीक दावत व अजीमत एक ऐसा रुतबा रखती है जिसका कोई सानी नहीं। यूं कहना बजा होगा कि बानी दरसगाह लाफानी दुनिया के एक ऐसे आफताब हैं कि जिसकी किरणें अबदुल आबाद तक तिश्नगान इल्म व आगही को रहनुमाई फराहम करती हैं। अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी एक तालीमी तहरीक थी जिससे हजारों लाखों फर्जंदान मिल्लत ने तालीम व तरबियत और अमली मैदान में रहनुमाई हासिल की, और ये सिलसिला हनूज जारी सारी है। इस सरचश्मे फैज से दुख्तरान मिल्लत की भी इल्मी और ज़हनी आबियारी हुई। अब्दुल्ला कॉलेज पापा मियाँ का एक ख्वाब था जिसकी तकमील उनके नामवर साहबजादी मुमताज आपा ने की, और ओहदे प्रिंसिपल से ज़ाब्ते के मुताबिक सुबुकदोशी के बाद कॉलेज और हॉस्टल के शब रोज से वो बजात खुद और उनका पूरा खानदान इस तरक्की में मसरूफ था। और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है कि सर सैयद अहमद खां को मैं ऐसे जानती हूँ कि जैसे वो हमारे घर के फर्द थे। हमने अपने बचपन से ही सर सैयद अहमद खां के बारे में सुना, क्योंकि हमारे बड़े भाई जो सैयद नफी हुसैन जाफरी साहब थे वो 62 में अलीगढ़ गए थे, और वहां से जब वो आया करते थे तो वो बात नहीं किया करते थे। तो मैं बहुत छोटी थी तो मुझे खुद याद है कि मैं अलीगढ़ सुन के मैं गिड़गढ़ कहती थी। मतलब इतना बचपन से हमने सुना है अलीगढ़ के बारे में। और तो सर सैयद अहमद खां हमें ऐसे लगते थे जैसे वो हमारे घर के एक फर्द थे, जैसे दादा नाना होते हैं उसी तरह सर सैयद अहमद खां भी थे। तो हम उन्हें बहुत बचपन से जानते हैं। उसी तरह जब हमारी बड़ी बहन गई अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी अब्दुल्ला हाल में पढ़ने के लिए, तो वहाँ पे शेख अब्दुल्ला साहब का बनाया हुआ वो अब्दुल्ला हाल था, आला बी का, मुमताज आपा का। तो जब हमारी आपा आया करती थी घर वापस, तो उनके साथ बहुत मैगजीन होते थे। तो उसमें हम शेख अब्दुल्ला को देखा करते थे, उसमें हम मुमताज आपा को देखा करते थे, उसमें हम मतलब इतना हम बचपन से इतने आदी हो चुके थे अब्दुल्ला हाल के, अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के, कि हमारे रग रग में, हमारे रोए रोए में अलीगढ़ जो है तो वो दाखिल है। और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये कि हमारी अम्मा वालदा साहबा जो हमारी थी, तो वो बचपन में वाकयात ऐसे बयान करती थी, और उनमें बहुत ज्यादा वाकया निगारी भी थी, क्योंकि उनके जो चचाजाद 2 भाई थे, तो शाह हादियता साहब वो पढ़ने के लिए गए, लेकिन बहुत ही नौउम्री में उनका इंतकाल हो गया। कन्वोकेशन में जब उनका नाम पुकारा गया उस वक्त वो मतलब मौत उनको दबोच चुकी थी। उसी तरह शाहादी अता साहब के छोटे भाई शाह हसन अता साहब जब गए, तो वो बड़े शोला बयान मुकर्रिर थे, खतीब थे, और उन्होंने नाम बहुत पैदा किया। तो बचपन में हमारी जब वो लोग आया करते थे सलोन, हम लोग सलोन एक कस्बा है वहाँ के रहने वाले हैं, तो जब वो वापस आया करते थे तो अम्मा से बातें होती थी, और हमारी अम्मा भी खुद हाफिजा थी और इस्लामिक और अरबी और फारसी से बहुत ज्यादा मतलब जानती थी, जैसे कि उस जमाने में तालीम का रवाज था, तो अम्मा हमारी हम लोगों के सामने ये सब बातें करती थी। तो बकौल हमारे भाई जो दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में है, उन्होंने कहा कि सीने शऊर को हम लोग जब पहुंचे हैं तो हमारे नाम में, हमारे दिलो दिमाग पे शाह हादियता उनका नाम, शाह हसन अता साहब उनका नाम, और अलीगढ़ का नाम। तो हम लोग जिसे कहना चाहिए, वो जो जुमला होता है इंग्लिश का कि बाय बर्थ तो हमको इनहेरिटेंस में ये मिली है, ये जो अलीगढ़ की मोहब्बत है, ये हमको इनहेरिटेंस में मिली है, बाय बर्थ मिली है, पैदाइशी है। और तो इसके लिए मैं क्या कह सकती हूँ आपको। और तो इस तरह हमने बहुत सुना। फिर हमारे जो वालिद साहब थे वो और उनके चचाजाद भाई, वो लोग जो थे तो लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी गए, वहाँ उन्होंने पढ़ा, क्योंकि मतलब जो जैसा था। लेकिन अलीगढ़ से हम लोग इस तरह वाकिफ थे। और फिर ऐसा हुआ कि हमने जब अब्दुल्लाहार में मैं पढ़ती थी तो हमारी बड़ी बहन वहां जा चुकी थी, तो उनके वजह से हम लोगों को बहुत फायदा हुआ और हमने बहुत सीखा और बहुत सुना। और हमारी जो उनकी साथी थी वो हमको बहुत मतलब रिस्पेक्ट दिया करती थी। तो फिर हमने मुमताज जहां नंबर निकाला, और उस जमाने में हमीदा आपा होती थी, हमीदा आपा हमारी पड़ोस थी। तो हमीदा आपा के जमाने में अब्दुल्ला हाल जो था, तो वो मतलब बहुत ही अच्छा, बहुत ही मतलब उनका दौरे शाहजहानी था। तो हमीदा आपा का दौर हमने बहुत अच्छी तरह देखा। सुरैया आपा का भी दौर था, लेकिन उस जमाने में मैं पीयूसी में थी, तो इतना हमसे उनसे नहीं हो पाता था। और इसी तरह मिस थॉमस थी, इसी तरह मिस थॉमस थी। और मुमताज आपा तो खैर थी ही थी। उनको हमने जब देखा पीयूसी में, तो हमने कई इनामात भी उनके हाथों से लिए, और कई मतलब मुकाबलों में भी हमने शिरकत की, और उनके साथ हमने मतलब वक्त गुजारा। लेकिन हमीदा आपा तो अभी डॉक्टर आपने फरमाया ना, मेरी 2 किताबें शाये हो चुकी हैं। तो एक तो ये है आवाज़ नीम शब, ये लिखी है दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से, ये हमारे भाई ज़हीर जाफरी, छोटे भाई जिनको हम कहते हैं, उन्होंने शाये की है। तो इस किताब के बारे में अभी आप बता रहे थे शाहिद साहब, है ना, ख्वाजा शाहिद साहब। तो आपने हमारी किताब पढ़ी और उस पर बहुत अच्छा तबसरा किया, हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा। और हमें थोड़ी सी और भी मतलब हमें एहसास हुआ, हमें आपने इनकरेज किया कि हम और लिखने की कोशिश करें। और बस वो एक चीज होती है, एक रात के लम्हे होते हैं, आवाज न्यूशब होती है, और बैठ के इंसान लिखता है। तो मैं इसमें से एक सर सैयद अलैहिर्रहमा के लिए एक छोटा सा पैराग्राफ सुनाना चाहती हूँ आपको। मेरे पास टाइम है हलीमा?
हाँ है।
जी जी बिल्कुल
है टाइम?
बिल्कुल जी।
तो सर सैयद अहमद खां के बारे में है कि सर सैयद अहमद खां अल्लामा इकबाल के अशार की ताबीर थे। उन्होंने वही किया जो करना चाहा, उन्होंने जो सोचा कौम की भलाई कैसे हो, फलाह बहबूद कैसे हो। उन्होंने मुड़कर ये नहीं देखा कि कौन क्या कह रहा है। और ये सच है कि मुड़कर देखने से बहुत फर्क पड़ता है। इंसान अपनी मंजिल भूल जाता है, अपना हदफ भूल जाता है। पीछे आती हुई आवाजें बेवकूफ और नादान दोस्तों की तरह होती हैं, जो ना खुद आगे बढ़ती हैं और ना ही दूसरों को बढ़ने देती हैं। उसमें एक वाकया ये मैं आपको बयान करना चाहूंगी कि कुछ लोग काफिले की शक्ल में कहीं जा रहे थे, है ना, तो उनको रास्ता नहीं मिला। अब वो बगैर रास्ते के बहुत परेशान थे। तो कुछ लोग एक जगह पहुंचे जहां लगा कि रास्ता है। जब वो वहां पर पहुंचे तो मालूम हुआ अरे वो तो पहाड़ था। तो बहुत ही परेशान, अब क्या करें। तो उन्होंने सोचा पहाड़ पे चढ़ा जाए तभी रास्ता मिल सकता है। तो उसमें से कुछ लोग पहाड़ पे चढ़ने लगे और चढ़ते गए, लेकिन कुछ लोग उतर गए। तो नीचे से आवाजें लोग देने लगे, अरे भाई नीचे उतर आओ, नीचे मतलब गिर जाओगे, मर जाओगे, और ऐसे होगा वैसे होगा। लेकिन लोग उतर आए, क्योंकि जब मेहरबान आवाजें होती हैं, बुलाने वाली आवाजें होती हैं, तो इंसान खुद ब खुद जज्बाती हो जाता है, वो वापस आ जाता है। लेकिन एक साहब चढ़ते गए। ऊपर पहुंचने के बाद उन्होंने रस्सी फेंकी, और रस्सी फेंकने के बाद जो बाकी लोग थे उनको भी ऊपर बुला लिया। अब जब ऊपर वो पहुंचे तो सब लोगों ने मिलकर सोचा कि चलो भाई इनका शुक्रिया हम अदा करें कि इन्होंने हमको ऊपर बुला लिया। तो जब ऊपर पहुंच तो उन साहब ने कहा कि मैं सुन नहीं सकता हूँ, تو اگر وہ صاحب بھی سنتے تو وہ بھی اتر جاتے, ہے نا. تو یہ کام سر سید علیہ الرحمہ نے کیا. ان کے پیچھے لوگ ان کو کیا کیا باتیں کہتے رہے, لیکن انہوں نے سنا ہی نہیں کسی کی بات, چپ چاپ اوپر چلتے گئے. تو جب انسان کی اپنی جد و جہد ہو, اپنی کوشش ہو, کچھ کرنے کی صحیح ہو, کچھ تحریک ہو, کچھ کرنا چاہے انسان, تو اس کو چاہیے کہ وہ کسی کی بات کو نہ سنے, چپ چاپ اوپر چڑھتا جائے, جاتا جائے, تبھی اس کو منزل ملتی ہے. کیونکہ یہ تو بھائی ایسی جگہ ہوتی ہے کہ سبھی کہتے ہیں ارے بھائی چڑھو مت اوپر. تو یہ تھا. تو سر سید علیہ الرحمہ کو اسی طرح انہوں نے بھی پیچھے نہیں مڑ کے دیکھا. اب اگر وہ لوگوں کی آوازیں سنتے تو ضرور واپس آ جاتے. تو ایک شعر ہے کہ زندگانی کی حقیقت کو کن کے دل سے پوچھ, جوئے شیر و تیشہ و سنگ گراں ہے زندگی. تو یہ زندگی ہے. یا میں یہ سوچتی ہوں کہ علی گڑھ مسلم یونیورسٹی میں کبھی اگر ایسا ہو کہ اللہ میاں کہیں, اللہ تعالیٰ فرمائے کہ سر سید علیہ الرحمہ تم جاؤ اور جا کے اپنا دیکھو علی گڑھ, اپنا بنایا ہوا تناور درخت, اپنی یونیورسٹی, تو پورے دنیا میں ہم لوگ پھیلے ہوئے ہیں ماشاءاللہ. اور ہمیں بھی بڑا فخر ہے اس بات کا کہ ہمارا تعلق علی گڑھ سے ہے, اور ہم سب بہن بھائیوں کا تعلق علی گڑھ سے ہے. اور اس وقت ہمارے ساتھ جتنے بھی لوگ بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں سب علی گڑھ کے ہیں. تو ہمیں بہت ہی فخر ہو رہا ہے, بہت ہی خوشی محسوس ہو رہی ہے, بہت ہی مسرت ہے کہ ہم آج اس طرح اس محفل میں بیٹھے ہیں. اور اب خواجہ شاہد صاحب, آپ کے لیے بہت بہت شکریہ کہ آپ مطلب آپ نے اس اسٹیج کو, اس پلیٹ فارم کو جمع کیا, اور ہم لوگ سب جمع ہیں. اور حلیمہ سعدیہ آپ تو ہیں ہی ہیں, جو مطلب اتنا اچھا پروگرام کر رہی ہیں, اور نعیمہ آپا, اور فوزیہ رحمان, اور ثنا حقی یہ. تو آپ سب کے لیے بہت بہت شکریہ. اور ہماری ایک اور کتاب ہے, 2 کتابیں ہیں میرے پاس, یہ پبلش ہوئی ہے دہلی یونیورسٹی سے, میرے بڑے بھائی نے کی ہیں. تو ایک تو جمال ہمنشی ہے, تو یہ سوانح حیات ہی سمجھ لیجیے اس کو, ہماری جو اپنی لائف ہے اسی پر ہم نے لکھا ہے. اور دوسری آواز نیم شب ہے. یہ دونوں ہی کتابیں ہمارے بھائی نے شائع کروائی ہیں. اللہ ان کو جزائے خیر دے, بہت اچھے بھائی ہیں ماشاءاللہ. تو یہ تھا. اور ہم وہاں پہ میں ایک شعر سنانا چاہوں گی آپ کو کہ احباب جمع ہیں میر حال دل کہہ لے, احباب جمع ہیں میر حال دل کہہ لے, پھر اس کے بعد دلے دوستاں رہے نہ رہے. تو یہ واقعی ایسا پلیٹ فارم ہے, یہ ایسا منظر ہے, یہ ایسی جگہ ہے کہ یہاں پہ آنے کے لیے تو نصیبوں سے لوگ ملتے ہیں, نصیبوں سے لوگ آتے ہیں, نصیبوں سے لوگ باتیں کرتے ہیں. یہ صرف علی گڑھ کی دین ہے, علی گڑھ مسلم یونیورسٹی کی دین ہے, اور اس کے لیے ہم کچھ کہہ نہیں سکتے ہیں. حمیدہ آپا سے میں بہت متاثر تھی, تعلیم نسواں کی بہترین مطلب شخصیت ہیں. اگر آپ کے پاس تھوڑا سا ٹائم ہو تو میں ان کے بارے میں ایک پیراگراف پڑھنا چاہوں گی, پڑھ سکتی ہوں؟
جی جی جی, بہت
ٹائم ہے جی. بہت شکریہ آپ کا, کیونکہ حمیدہ آپا کے سامنے ہمیں بہت کچھ کرنے کا موقع ملا. ہم لوگ بہت خوش رہتے تھے ان کے سامنے کہ علی جب اچھا یہاں سے میں پڑھتی ہوں کہ میں ان کے دور کو دور شاہجہانی کے نام سے یاد کرتی ہوں. دور شاہجہانی کا مطلب صرف یہ نہیں کہ بڑی بڑی عمارتیں بنائی جائیں, مینار کھڑے کیے جائیں, 2 رویا سڑکیں ہوں, بڑے بڑے پارک ہوں, لیکن یہاں عبداللہ حال کی رہنے والی طالبات کے دل کی عمارتوں کو سجانا سنوارنا, ان کو سرسبز بنانا, ان کے سچے کھرے اور نوعمر دماغ میں ایسی بلند بالا عمارتوں کا وجود میں لانا بھی بہت بڑا کام ہے, جو حمیدہ آپا نے بہت خوبی انجام دیا. اور یہ بالکل درست ہے کہ ہم طالبات عبداللہ حال نے اپنے اپنے گھروں, خاندانوں اور نئی نسلوں میں بڑی بڑی عمارتیں کھڑی کر لی کہ دیکھنے والے دنگ رہ جاتے ہیں. تو یہ بہت بڑا شعور ہے, بہت بڑی چیز ہے, اور یہ عبداللہ حال کا مطلب کیا کہوں میں, دین ہے. میں علی گڑھ کے بارے میں کچھ کہتے ہوئے بہت جذباتی ہو جاتی ہوں. مجھے ایسا لگتا ہے کہ جیسے اگر کوئی ہم سے پوچھے کہ بھائی صالحہ منزل میں ہمارا جو گھر تھا وہاں کیا تھا, تو میں کہوں گی ارے بھائی میں اپنے گھر کے بارے میں کیا بتاؤں, وہ تو گھر تھا, گھر ہوتا ہے. تو اسی طرح AMU علی گڑھ مسلم یونیورسٹی ہے, تو ہمارے بچپن کی हमारे बचपन के किस्से, हमारे बचपन की बातें, तो उसके बारे में मैं आपको क्या कहूँ, कुछ कह ही नहीं सकती। बस मैं 2 अशार पढ़ूंगी, क्योंकि हमारे हमारी अम्मा के चचाजाद भाई शाह हसन अता साहब, जो मतलब उनके भाई थे, लेकिन हमारे खालू भी थे, और हमसे उनसे एक और रिश्ता भी है अलीगेरियन का, क्योंकि वो भी अलीगेरियन थे, मैं भी अलीगेरियन हूँ, मतलब क्रिसमस से। और फिर हमारा एक रिश्ता और भी है कि वो हमारे ससुर नामदार हैं, मैं उनकी बहू हूँ, बहू होने का मुझे शर्फ है। तो उनके 2 अशार हैं, वो भी बहुत आज से मतलब अलीगढ़ थे, क्योंकि जब मैं शादी होके पाकिस्तान आई हूँ, तो मैंने अपने घर में या तो अलीगढ़ देखा या पाकिस्तान देखा, हिंदुस्तान नहीं था वहां पे। लेकिन उन्होंने अपनी हिंदुस्तानी बहू का दिल अपनी मुट्ठी में ले लिया था, बहुत प्यार से, बहुत अच्छी तरह उन लोगों ने हमें मतलब अपने दिल घर में जगह दी, दिल में जगह दी। तो उनके 2 अशार हैं, मुद्दत के बाद तेरी जियारत हुई नसीब, मेरा सलाम मेरे अलीगढ़ कबूल कर, ता हशर में रहूंगा तेरी बज़्म में अजीज, मुझसे मेरा खराज अकीदत कबूल कर।
कबूल कर।
माशाल्लाह, बहुत खूब। राज अकीदत
तो
कबूल कर। जी।
वाह,
तो अगर आप चाहें प्लीज, तो ये किताबें हमारे भाई जो हैं ज़हीर हुसैन जाफरी साहब, प्रोफेसर साहब, उनसे मंगवाइए, पढ़िए, और हमें बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। और अब मैं इंतजार कर रही हूँ नईमा आपा का। नईमा आपा हमारे हमसे 1 साल सीनियर थी, और मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है नईमा आपा कि वो मतलब प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस, जहाँ पे रजिया आपा बैठा करती थी, जहाँ पे सुरैया आपा बैठा करती थी, जहाँ पे मिस थॉमस बैठा करती थी, जहाँ से हम लोग गुजरते हुए डरते थे, वहां पे आप हैं। तो मेरा दिल चाह रहा है कि मैं वेमेंस कॉलेज जाऊं और बगैर नॉक किए हुए दरवाजे के अंदर दाखिल हो जाऊं, जैसे
बिल्कुल।
कि न्यू हॉस्टल में जब हम लोग रहते थे, तो हम लोग ऊपर रहते थे, हम लोग जूनियर, और जो सीनियर होते थे नीचे रहते थे। तो नईमा पा से कोई भी जरूरत की बात होती थी, हम लोग कहते थे नईमा पा ये चाहिए, वो फौरन उनका कमरा हमेशा खुला होता था हम लोगों के लिए। तो नईमा पा आपको देख के बहुत खुशी हुई, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, मेरा दिल चाह रहा है मैं अभी आ जाऊं विमेंस कॉलेज, और आपके ऑफिस में जहाँ से हम डरते थे गुजरते हुए।
मोस्ट वेलकम, जरूर आओ शर्मा जी।
बिल्कुल आऊंगी, बिल्कुल आएंगे इंशाल्लाह।
थैंक
तो
यू
बहुत
वेरी
अच्छा
मच
लगा,
सलमा मैम,
बहुत अच्छा लगा
वंडरफुल
आप लोगों से
वंडरफुल।
बात करके, और खुश हूँ बहुत ज्यादा।
हमारी किताब मुझे सिमी ने के हाथ दिया था, वो मैंने पढ़ी तुम्हारी किताब, एक
अच्छा,
किताब तुमने
बहुत
भिजवाया था।
नहीं तो आप ऐसा कीजिए कि हमारे भाई जो हैं दिल्ली
जी,
यूनिवर्सिटी में, आप उनसे राब्ता कीजिए, वो आपको जरूर भिजवा देंगे, और बहुत अच्छा लगेगा हमें। थैंक यू,
थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू वेरी
बहुत बहुत
मच
शुक्रिया सब लोग,
लेडीज
बहुत
एंड
अच्छा
जेंटलमैन, बहुत बहुत अच्छा। जो दिल से जो बात निकलती है असर
ये
रखती
असर
है,
रखती है,
पर
वाह,
नहीं ताकते परवाज मगर रखती है।
कुदरत
तो
रखती है।
सलमा मैम के दिल से निकली हुई बातें अभी अभी हम समाअत फरमा रहे थे, और वाकईतन उन्होंने अलीगढ़ की याद ताज़ा कर दी। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, क्योंकि और सब हम सब तो किताबी बातें कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आपने जो बातें की हैं वो दिल की बात है, और दिल की बात बराह रास्त दिल तक पहुंचती है।
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका जी।
Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to invite a dynamic lady who is the principal of Women's College AMU, और विमेंस कॉलेज की प्रिंसिपल होने से पहले उन्होंने और भी कई मकामात पे अपनी खिदमत दी हैं। आई वुड लाइक टू प्रेजेंट अ ब्रीफ introduction of Professor Naima K. Gulrez, who has served as professor and chairperson in the Department of Psychology before joining as principal in the Women's College in July 2014. Prior to that, she was professor since July 2006, associate professor since April 1998, and lecturer since August 1988. She also taught in the National University Central Africa for 1 academic year. Professor Naima Khatun holds a PhD and a PhD degree in political psychology, for which she worked at Center for the Study of Developing Societies, Delhi, and Aligarh Muslim University. She has authored and co-authored and edited 6 books, and she is a regular contributor in the journals of national and international repute, and she has supervised 15 PhD theses. So ladies and gentlemen, today we have a woman of such caliber among us. Please put your hands together to welcome Professor Naima Gulrez Sahiba. So thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. And now over to you, Professor Naima Sahiba.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lima. I am indeed respected Khwaja, I am Shahid Sahab. I am indeed thankful to you for giving me this beautiful opportunity and for meeting old friends. And Shahid Sahab, I am really grateful to you, and I really don't know how to express.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. 100% our pleasure.
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका शाहिद साहब. बस कैसे शुक्रिया अदा करूं, इतनी खूबसूरत आपने गैदरिंग में हमें बोलने का मौका दिया. मरियम, फौजिया रहमान, ये सब मेरे जूनियर्स हैं. मैं आपको नाम से पुकार सकती हूँ. आप सब बच्चे हो मेरे सामने. सना है, सादिया से, और मुझे बहुत वाकई बेहद खुशी हुई सलमा जाफरी से मिलकर इस तरह से. और सलमा, आप जरूर तशरीफ लाएं और बेधड़क बिल्कुल दरवाजा खोल के आप प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस में घुसे. आपने मुझे भी बहुत इमोशनल कर दिया. हमीदा आपा मेरी मेंटर रही हैं, पीयूसी से वो मेरी टीचर रही. मैं साइकोलॉजी की स्टूडेंट रही हूँ, और वो मेरी कलीग भी रही, मेरी चेयरपर्सन भी रही, और मेरी क्या कहना चाहिए, बिल्कुल एक बड़ी बहन की तरह. उनका जाना मेरे लिए बहुत बहुत ज्यादा तकलीफ था. और मैं जब वो यहाँ आ गई थी और बीमार भी थी, ऑलमोस्ट हर महीने आफ्टर हर रिटायरमेंट मैं उनके घर जाती थी, और हम लोग घंटों बातें करते थे, अब्दुल्ला हॉल की बातें करते थे. और वो मेरी एक तरह से दोस्त हो गई थी, जबकि मेरी टीचर थी, मेरी मेंटर थी, मेरी गाइड थी. और सलमा, तुमने बिल्कुल मुझे इमोशनल कर दिया था. मैं बहुत इमोशनली उनसे अटैच थी.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. नईमा मैम, आप हमारा नाम से पुकार भी सकती हैं हम लोगों को, और एक प्रिंसिपल वाली डांट भी.
तो हम किसी ओहदे से नहीं, आप होंगी बहुत बड़ी वकील जरूर. मैं
नहीं मैम, और आप मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ, आप एक प्रिंसिपल वाली डांट भी लगा दीजिए.
हम लोग सिर्फ नंबर जानते हैं और कुछ नहीं जानते. एनरोलमेंट नंबर से हम लोग सीनियर होते हैं.
5671. मैं ये कह रही हूँ, आप एक प्रिंसिपल वाली डांट भी लगा दीजिए आज.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, वो मेरा हक है. शाहिद भाई मौजूद हैं, और बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. बहुत ही इट इज इंडीड इनफैक्ट वेरी एप्ट टू स्पीक ऑफ वुमेन एमेंसिपेशन एंड एम्पावरमेंट and the role of Aligarh movement, the contribution of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. I will first go to Khwaja Shahid Saab's remark on the role of how it is. There is always a controversy regarding female education and the contribution of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and the contribution of Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah. In this regard, it is one thing I will say without going into controversy, that was the time when Sir Syed started this movement, Aligarh movement, for the education of, particularly for the Muslim community. The time was such that community was so conservative and so orthodox. They were against the English education, and the community at that point of time thought that this modern education or English education means converting to Christianity. So when Sir Syed started this movement, he had to face lots of opposition. So had he started the movement for female education, I think his movement would not have been successful. So I think that was strategically, he thought that let's try for the education of boys, and then automatically the girls will also be. That is one of the opinion about. There are many historians who have opposed Sir Syed Ahmad Khan for not being very supportive towards female education. But once I had a discussion with Sir Syed's great granddaughter, Mrs. Shehzadi Aleem. So on that discussion, she was telling that actually, of course, our founder, that is, if the female education, the researches and the discussions on female education will in fact be incomplete unless and until we refer to Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah. Had it not been the women's college, had it not been the Abdullah Hall, the plight of Muslim women would have been very, I mean, you could have, you can think of what would be the plight of Muslim women had it not been this women's college and Abdullah Hall. So I was just referring to Mrs. Shehzadi Aleem. She told that Sir Syed came from a family where females, the women folk, were respected. They were never harassed in the house, and there was great respect for women in the family where, to which Sir Syed belonged. On the other hand, Sheikh Abdullah came from a family where there was no respect for women in the community, because he also in his autobiography he writes that he was going and there was a pregnant woman, how she was being flogged and she was being beaten, and he was deeply moved by it. So she just in informal discussion she told me that maybe it is because of that Sheikh Abdullah was more concerned about female. It was an informal discussion. She was talking about regarding this controversy about whether Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was supportive of formal women education or not, and whether Sir Syed Sheikh Abdullah is pioneer in female education. So there is a lot of discussion on that. But there are many occasions in which Sir Syed has spoken while addressing in one of his gathering in Punjab. In one of his addresses, he addressed the girls and said that I am not against female education. That it is quoted in the speech. I am not against female education. He speaks. So without going into that controversy, but without the mention of Women's College, Abdullah Hall, and Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, I think the entire women education movement will not be complete. So I have a little bit of research from the past, from Sir Syed Ahmad Khan onwards till the present. I hope I'll be doing justice to that. So a little bit of research I have made how this female education movement, this emancipation of women started with
Good.
the advent of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. It's a very important contribution of the Aligarh movement, and the fruit of its labor is that it made female education a reality at a time when it was considered morally wrong due to narrow-mindedness and a belief that women's traditional confinement due to parda was more important than their education. So we have to understand the time that was there. So you have to think in that perspective. There is no denying the fact that the Aligarh movement had conflicting voices regarding the matter of women education. It has been observed by scholars like Gail Minault. She was also the guest of honor in the last Sir Syed Day, and she has written about Sheikh Abdullah and Sir Syed both. So Gail Minault says that the founder had shown mixed reactions to the issue of women's education and rights. She was referring to Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. However, the Aligarh movement in its entirety did not fail the cause of female education. Many people associated with women's education section of Mohammedan Educational Conference took over from where founder Sir Syed Ahmad Khan had left. The reformist movement of Aligarh, with its focus on women's education, had started to pick up momentum since the end of the 19th century and became stronger in its demand for availability of formal education and institution with the advent of the 20th century. Ghulam Saqlain, Karamat Hussain, Mumtaz Ali, Shaukat Ali, and Sheikh Abdullah were among the most active leaders for the cause. Sheikh Abdullah became the secretary of Women's Education Section in 1902 and started to make efforts along with his wife, Wahid Jahan Begum, to establish a madrasa or school for girls, which today is AMU's Women's College. It started with the foundation of a female madrasa in the year 1904. The wife of the then Lieutenant Governor of UP, Mrs. Porter, laid the foundation stone of the boarding house for girls' education in its premises. The foundation stone is still present in the dining hall of the Wahidia hostel. Those of you who have lived in Wahidia must have observed that, must have seen that. The marble stone is laid by Mrs. Porter. Sheikh Abdullah later founded the Female Education Association and started the Risale-e-Khatun to promote the cause of female education. This Risale-e-Khatun, these numbers are still present. It is in our library, and we are in the process of digitalization of those magazines. Very old and very precious magazines started by our founder. Salma, you must be interested in those numbers. So we are digitalizing that.
बिल्कुल जी.
An important ally of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Maulana Altaf Hussain Hali, who has been called Urdu's first feminist poet, says in Majlisun Nisa that only educated women can secure their rights, and the progress of a nation depends on women's education. That was Altaf Hussain Hali's observation. Within a few decades, AMU had to produce poets who would address women in the spirit of nationalism as well as female emancipation. Asrarul Haq Majaz, the Tarana, you all are aware of it. Majaz wrote, तेरे माथे पे ये आंचल बहुत खूब है, लेकिन तू इस आंचल से एक परचम बना लेती तो अच्छा था. A very important name to mention in the Aligarh movement, especially for the cause of female education, is Begum Sultan Jahan, who was deeply involved in the development of Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. In 1914, she became the president of the All India Muslim Ladies Association. She laid the foundation stone of the Sultania Hostel in the girls' high school, still a hostel of Abdullah Hall. And she sanctioned an annual grant of 2,000 rupees for the school for promoting female education. In fact, she was the first champion of female education at that time. Begum Sultan Jahan later became the founding chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University from the year 1920 until her death in the year 1930. The first female graduate of AMU in the year 1924 was Pasha Begum, and the first female postgraduate was Mrs. Sarojini Devi, who completed MA in English in 1931. In the year 1937, Women's College was established, and now more than 3,250 students are enrolled in the college. The students are not only from India, but also from Malaysia, Thailand, Iran, Bangladesh, Mauritius, Indonesia, Turkmenistan, Nepal, and Afghanistan. And there are 34 courses presently in the college in which the girls from different parts of the world are enrolled. And for the present, I would like to bring into your knowledge that the campus is fully Wi-Fi with the camp, and we have modern laboratories. There you will see a changed look, though the whole library is renovated and all reading rooms are air conditioned now. The premises, after a variety of the premises offer a variety of experience to the enrolled girls. and we have a large, good sports facility also. We have facility. We have 2 very good basketball courts, and new addition to our infrastructure is an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So that's a new addition. And our founder in his autobiography writes that I wish I also had a swimming pool like in Europe they have, and my girls could also avail this opportunity. वो कहते हैं कि काश मेरे पास भी एक ऐसा स्विमिंग पूल होता जो बर्तानिया में लड़कियां उसमें तैराक बनती हैं. मेरी ख्वाहिश है कि यहाँ भी होता. तो
Very good.
ख्वाहिश 100 साल बाद, 100 साल से ज्यादा सालों के बाद अब पूरी हुई है. अब हमारे पास एक ओलंपिक साइज स्विमिंग पूल है अब्दुल्ला हॉल में.
वाह, जबरदस्त.
Congratulations.
ये अभी इसका इनॉग्रेशन पिछले साल ही हुआ है, और फिर उसके बाद ये ड्यू टू दिस पैंडेमिक ऑफ कोविड-19 बहुत इस्तेमाल नहीं हुआ है. बस कुछ ही दिन के बाद वो बंद है अभी इस वक्त. वी होप टू स्टार्ट इट इन नियर फ्यूचर, क्योंकि अब वो सब कुछ, क्योंकि नाउ वी आर स्टिल हैविंग ऑनलाइन क्लासेस. सो द एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ गर्ल्स is in progress. It is good, though we are still lagging behind, but we are moving slowly, and the progress is like considerable progress, I believe. The university also imparts technical and vocational education. Women's Polytechnic, we have Women's Polytechnic, and we have a center for skill development and career planning in Women's College itself. The center, incidentally, I am the director of that center also. We have many vocational courses. Presently, we are running 17 courses. We are imparting skill training to the bona fide students as well as to the dropouts and to ladies who have just dropped out of their education. It's a very good. Shahid Sahab, I would like to draw your attention to this.
That's very good.
We
Very
have
good.
Center of Skill Development and Career Planning. And we are also providing this courses to those women who didn't have the opportunity to continue with their formal education. We are imparting training to them in presently we are running 17 courses of
Very
skill.
good. Excellent.
And
Excellent.
these ladies coming from far off places, villages, they come, we train them, we provide them the material, and then the instructors train them in various skills.
Skills.
We provide them the material, they do their work, and then they sell those materials. They don't have to invest anything. The college invests, and then the finished goods products like embroidery, tailor. There are courses of tailoring, embroidery, beauty culture, and other lots of courses.
Also,
And they do
professional
it,
course.
and then they sell it, and they earn some profit out of that, some money out of that.
Very good.
So that
Excellent.
is- and
Real
so
empowerment. Real empowerment.
you all will be happy to know that our center, this Center for Skill Development and Career Planning in Women's College, after providing training, we are also keeping track of them, what actually they are doing. So what they come and they report their success stories. So most of them they've started a small beauty parlor in their home with a small room. They have learned this makeup, facial, hair cutting and all. They themselves, many of them came and told, ma'am, we are able to earn 10 to 15,000 rupees of our own. And now we are self-reliant and we are independent, because girls these days they are very much conscious about their appearance and other things. They are very conscious about beauty. And these girls from villages, they come and they provide small room provision for them. So they are doing facial, they are doing this eyebrow plucking, they are putting mehendi and other thing, and they are earning a lot of money
Good.
out of that.
Very good.
So
Very good.
that
They're
is
the real beauties of MU.
so
Very good.
that is a very good thing.
Very good.
It
Very
is
good.
certain things which actually they are earning while they are learning also. The female students comprise 35% of the total strength of Aligarh Muslim University.
Amazing.
Presently, AMU has 6 halls of residence for women students who are enrolled in different courses. We also have a full-fledged Center for Women's Studies. Now it is converted into a department, and students, they are offering undergraduate, postgraduates, MPhil and PhD program in women's studies. We have a full-fledged center in the university. So that is how the women are progressing. And AMU has contributed to female education in a massive way in the past. However, it does not and should not make us complacent. Female students face challenges and common to a traditional society of South Asia. And we are not actually exception to that. All female students, they face challenges. They are more vulnerable to certain things. So we are also a part of that, but we have to face the challenges, and female students have to work doubly hard from their male counterparts to excel in every field. You, Mariam Fawzia Rahman, you must be in your profession, you must be observing this thing, that being a female advocate, you have to work even harder than your male.
Yes, I agree.
Counterparts. We optimistically expect from the current, dispensations from the community and from everybody who has a heart for female education, that all kinds of encouragement and support to further the cause of female education. And I strongly believe that in future too, our students will scale greater heights in science and technology as well as humanities to make the university, our university and the founder and the nation proud. And at last, I'll say that the discussion on female education or women emancipation or women empowerment will be incomplete without mentioning the contribution of our founder, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, and the existence of Women's College. And I still believe that my existence, I owe it to Women's College. I came from, at a time from Odisha, and I was the only girl from Odisha studying in Women's College. So that is how I started. After my high school, I came here, I did my graduation, post-graduation, PhD, and everything that I am today, I owe it to this college and Aligarh.
Commendable.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Thank you. Very good. Wonderful
And
presentation.
Naima ma'am, Halima, if you allow me, Naima
Yeah.
ma'am, you've also, I think you forgot to mention that the first lady to get an award in language, that too in Persian, the highest civilian award, Padma Shri awardee, Professor Dr. Rihanna Khatun, is also from Aligarh Muslim University and
Yes,
Women's College, I'm sure.
Thank you for adding this information. Thank you very much, Professor Naima Khatun. I don't think that after this presentation, we further need any addition on Sir Syed movement and women empowerment.
I think after this, we all want to go back to Women's College and, you know,
You all are welcome. We are all are welcome to your alma mater anytime.
I want to study again under ma'am's supervision as a principal.
Yes, very true. Very true. And you know, when I look at the women empowerment, especially from the minority section, so I think the first name that comes into our mind is AMU. Now, if not AMU, then what else? Who else? Where else? Because that is the only institution that provides equal opportunity to all the female and male students in almost all the courses, and not only in courses, but providing them the opportunity for leadership, providing them the opportunity for sports, providing them the opportunity, like ma'am has mentioned, now they have Olympic size swimming pool, just imagine, and the female are also going to be benefited by that swimming pool. So Aligarh Muslim University is a symbol of women empowerment. Because what empowerment means? Empowerment to me is that freedom of expression, freedom to live freely and breathe freely in this world. That is freedom. And AMU is a platform that provides women the opportunity not only to breathe and live, but to flourish and to grow. And to grow, Aligarh provides us the wings At the same time, it provides us the root as well. So root and wings, these two things are the distinguishing mark of AMU. Although I can see the love of you people here who are here. So my love for Aligarh may not be so long as your love is, but I never measure the love with the length, but with the depth. So the love is as deep as any one of you, but yes, the duration of my stay in Aligarh Muslim University is quite less. But still, I cannot even imagine that a girl from a very remote area of Bihar coming to a madrasa and then studying in Rampur Madrasa and then going to the Aligarh. You can imagine and you can visualize that how I was feeling when I was in Aligarh. I used to feel that like I am not less than in Oxford. It was for me like that. That was such a prestigious matter for me. And when I used to walk through the corridors and then when I used to go to the rooms and then I used to interact with the friends. So everything was like a dream and a dream come true. So those sweet memories, Salma ma'am has started recalling, and then Naima ma'am has strengthened those memories. And now I'm also feeling like going back there. So ladies and gentlemen, we have discussed a little bit about Sir Sayyid's opposition, like how the people have opposed him, saying that he was not very much in the favor of women empowerment. For that, we have to look at the scenario, that what was the situation at that time. I'm not talking only about the Muslim women, but women as a whole. You know, there was sati system, there was early child marriage, there was first of all, there was no right given to the women because most of them were killed when they were in the womb itself. That was also a custom there. And then there was a dowry system, and there were so many things, violence, domestic violence at home. In this situation, if we look at Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's reforms, then he has reformed against all these evils. And naturally, if we are working either for the growth or we work for removing the pain, we work in two directions. So the first and foremost responsibility of a leader is, the first we have to remove the pain, then only we can move to the growth. So he was removing the pain. He was removing those all social evils that was making the position of a woman in the society not only lower, but the pathetic. I remember in one of the seminar, I was speaking in Agora speakers at Singapore, and there it was that I'm proud of being a woman. Then I started with this, that yes, I'm proud of being a woman because now I am not being satied. So naturally, the people over there was not aware of sati. Then I explained, and it was like surprising for most of the people that how it's possible. But yes, it was possible in those days. And Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was a real reformer against all these evils. If we talk about the women condition, so women condition was even doubly disadvantaged. One, because of the society, because we are living in our country, and whatever is prevailing in our country, naturally we are affected by that. We are the part of our country. And secondly, from our community, like the Muslim community, we have our own scholars, we have our own ulamas, and they have their own mindsets, they have their own philosophy. So the women, they were under parda, and in the name of parda, many things that would have been allowed for the women were not allowed for them, just for the sake of in the name of parda system. And then there was like the women were suffering with the domestic violence and the divorce and the disadvantages, especially the middle class family and the lower middle class family, because upper middle class was always given education at home. I remember that in my hometown also, my nani used to say that earlier their grandmother used to get the education when Maulvi used to come to the house, and they zamindars ladies were being educated by those. So upper class was not having the issue of education as much as the middle class and the lower middle class families. Now Sir Syed Ahmad Khan has a mission. He had a vision. And his mission and vision was, first of all, to empower the youth, not only the Muslim youth, but to empower the entire country, to empower the youth of this country. And he has started AMU that was not only exclusively for the Muslim, that was for this country. That's why Mahatma Gandhi has said that Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was the prophet of education in India. So Mahatma Gandhi, wife Mahatma Gandhi was forced to comment and to give this remark because he has seen the passion and Herculean efforts and tasks done by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. That's why he was forced to give this type of remarks. Then when Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was in England, he was greatly impressed by the youth of that country because they found that the youth are the nation builders and they are dedicating themselves fully for the welfare and for the development of the country. When he came back, he had the same dream for his own country. And because of his dream of making the India modern through the education, naturally it was not taken in a very good spirit by some of the people, while others have welcomed. And today we can see the fruit of his efforts. And then today we can see that the Aligarh Muslim University's students we will find all around the world. When I was in UAE, I was just mentioning that there the people are so in large number from AMU. They have 3 organizations and they celebrate Sir Syed Day 3 times. That is the importance of Aligarh Muslim University's empowering the youth and empowering the women as well. Now, if we talk about that now in today's scenario, if any one institution, if we name that is empowering the women and the girl, then naturally we would say that AMU is that only institution that is empowering and that is bearing the fruit, and naturally the credit goes to the founder of Aligarh Muslim University. Since my distinguished speakers have already highlighted what Aligarh Muslim University is offering, what all benefits we have, and we all have experienced personally. So now I'm going to focus more that what is our responsibility at this moment. सर सैयद अहमद खान ने तो कर दिया जो करना था, शेख अब्दुल्ला ने कर दिया जो करना था, उसके बाद हमारे जितने भी हमसे पहले जितने भी अकाबरीन आए हैं, जितने भी स्कॉलर्स आए, जितने भी सोशल रिफॉर्मर्स आए, उन्होंने अपना अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन किया. अब हमारी क्या जरूरत है इस वक्त एएमयू की या सर सैयद अहमद मिशन की क्या डिमांड है, क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि चेंज इज द ओनली थिंग दैट रिमेन्स ऑलवेज. तो चेंज इज द नीड ऑफ द आवर. एंड इन द चेंज में जो मैं पहली बात करना चाहूंगी वो ये, हो सकता है कि मेरा ये बहुत ही मामूली जबान से ये सजेशंस आ रहे हैं, बट स्टिल आई एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग एंड एज अ लिगेरियन आई फाइंड दैट ये मेरा हक है कि मैं अभी कुछ बोलूं कि क्या होना चाहिए. तो मेरे ख्याल से कोलैबोरेशन बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि अब जमाना जो है ग्लोबलाइजेशन का है और इसमें बगैर कोलैबोरेशन के नोबडी कैन सक्सीड इन द वर्ल्ड, वेदर इट इज वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट और यूथ एम्पावरमेंट और नेशन एम्पावरमेंट. सो कोलैबोरेशन. And secondly, the inclusiveness. We cannot make a compartment for ourselves and we cannot live in isolation. So we have to have the inclusive approach and we have to mingle with all other people, not only in our country, but the other countries as well. And the third is that we have to make a mark on the world map, although AMU has already made this mark, but you know, the time is so challenging. ऐसा नहीं कि एक बार आपने कुछ अचीव कर लिया तो वो आपके नाम के साथ हमेशा लगा रहेगा, ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि जमाना इतनी तेजी से बदल रहा है और चैलेंजेस इतने ज्यादा बढ़ रहे हैं कि किसी भी इदारे के लिए अपने नाम को बरकरार रखना ये एक रोलर कोस्टर की तरह है जिसमें आपको 24/7 लगे रहना है. और खास तौर से जो अलीग्स हैं जहां जहां भी हैं, मैं उन्हीं से ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी अपने भाई बहनों से कि हम सब एक तमगा अपने साथ रखते हैं. इस तमगे की हमें न सिर्फ निगहबानी करनी है बल्कि इस तमगे की चमक को और ज्यादा बढ़ाने की जरूरत है. आइए हम सब मिलकर इस तमगे की चमक को और बढ़ाएं. एंड प्राउड टू बी एन अलीग. थैंक यू वेरी मच. एंड नाउ आई थिंक विदाउट प्लेइंग द AMU song this mahfil is not going to be complete. So I request all of you to kindly sing along with the video. I am going to play the AMU song. अलीगढ़ का तराना.
बिल्कुल.
चमन मेरा चमन मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल मेरा चमन मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल किसी बसता है किसी फूल मेरा चमन मेरा चमन मेरा चमन मेरा चमन मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल रंग में रोशन वो शमाएं भी जलती खुशी खुशी
सिखाई है हमको उपसाद यहाँ परवाज़ यहाँ मेरे वफा के गीत यहाँ तेरा है रूह का साथ यहाँ मेरे वफा के गीत यहाँ तेरा है रूह का साथ चमन है मेरा चमन मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल मिस्र यहाँ में मिस्र यहाँ हर शब है शबे शीराज यहाँ सो बोसा लेने को 100 बार झुका आकाश यहाँ रात का बोसा लेने को 100 बार झुका आकाश यहाँ से देखिए दिल की कश्ते पास यहाँ आँख से हमने देखी है बात दिल की कश्ते पास चमन ये अब हमेशा बढ़तेगा बढ़तेगा बढ़तेगा
So,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, this is that beautiful song that is always echoing in our hearts and ears.
Thank you for making us feel we are in Aligarh.
Thank you very much. And now over to you, Dr. Khaja sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sadia Halima. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कहूँगा। اتنی اچھی بات ہے سن کے. میں نے جب یہ ٹاپک چوز کیا تھا تو میں نے اس کا عنوان رکھا وومن امپاورمنٹ. میں نے یہ نہیں کہا کہ سر سید اور وومن امپاورمنٹ. میں نے سوچ کے رکھا تھا کہ سر سید علی گڑھ موومنٹ یا علی گڑھ سر سید مشن, علی گڑھ مشن اینڈ وومن امپاورمنٹ. مشن ہوتا ہے یا موومنٹ ہوتی ہے, موومنٹ کا کوئی مشن ہوتا ہے, وہ ایک ایمبریونک گروتھ کے ساتھ بڑھتا ہے. اٹس نیور اسٹیٹک, اٹس اے ڈائنامک پروسیس, اٹس آلویز گروئنگ. تو علی گڑھ موومنٹ بھی اٹس اے گروئنگ اینڈ ڈائنامک پروسیس, آن گوئنگ ڈائنامک پروسیس جو سر سید کے زمانے میں ہوا. اور جیسے کہ سلما جعفری صاحبہ نے کہا سر سید آ جاتے تو وہ آج کیا کرتے ہو, کیا دیکھتے ہو, کیا نہیں کرتے. تو اس پروسیس, آنورڈ پروسیس, کنٹینیوئنگ پروسیس, گروئنگ پروسیس. What we saw as a small school started by Sheikh Abdullah or MAO college started by Sir Syed is now a huge university, huge women's college. And I wish and I pray and میری خواہش ہے کہ کل کوئی وومن یونیورسٹی بنے, شیخ عبداللہ کے نام سے بنے یا الگ سے اپنی یونیورسٹی بنے, ایک کالج کے طور پہ نہ رہے بلکہ ایک یونیورسٹی کی شکل میں رہے. ہزاروں خواہش ہے ایسی کہ ہر خواہش پہ دم نکلے. یہ بھی ایک ایسی خواہش ہے کہ اس پہ میرا خیال ہے کہ کل کو ایک یونیورسٹی بننی چاہیے. تو آپ سب جو لوگ یہاں پر ہیں, سب لوگ خود ایک ایمبوڈیمنٹ آف امپاورمنٹ ہے. یو آر آل پرسنفائڈ امپاورمنٹ. جو سر سید مشن ہے وہ پرسنفائڈ ہے آپ میں, وہ آپ لوگ ایمبوڈیمنٹ آف امپاورمنٹ ہے. لیکن ایکسپیکٹیشن کی کبھی کمی نہیں ہوتی ہے, ایکسپیکٹیشن ہمیشہ بڑھتی جاتی ہیں. اب آج سوئمنگ پول کھلا ہے, کل کو جم کھلے گا, پرسوں رائڈنگ کلب آئے گا, وغیرہ وغیرہ. تو جتنی ہماری ایکسپیکٹیشنس ہیں وہ پوری ہوں, یہی وومن امپاورمنٹ کا اور ہمارے مشن کا اور سر سید کی تحریک کا میرے خیال سے صحیح اچیومنٹ ہوگا. آج ہم اس کی ڈیمانڈ کر رہے ہیں کہ لڑکیاں کے مولانا آزاد یونیورسٹی لائبریری میں ہم کیوں نہیں جا سکتے. ہماری ٹائمنگ بڑھائی ہے, ہم رات تک 10 بجے تک بیٹھیں گے اور 11 بجے تک بیٹھیں گے. جو یہ ایکسپیکٹیشن پڑ رہی ہیں لڑکیوں کی, یہ ان کے امپاورمنٹ کا ایک مثال ہے, ایک ایشو آپ ہمیں ایشو لگتا ہے, لیکن میں سمجھتا ہوں یہ ان کی ایکسپیکٹیشن ایک مثال ہے جو ہمیں بتا رہی ہے کہ ہم لوگ نے ان کو کہاں تک آگے پہنچا دیا اور آگے پہنچنے میں ان میں کتنی اور ان کی ضرورت ہے. تو میں اس پروبی نوٹ کے ساتھ, میں جب مانو میں تھا مولانا آزاد نیشنل اردو یونیورسٹی میں, تو ایک تنظیم ہے, میں سمجھتا ہوں پروفیسر نعیمہ اگر ہے موجود تو وہ بھی ہم صحیح کریں گی, پنجرا توڑ, ایک پنجرا توڑ تنظیم ہے. تو اب وہ ہمارے مانو یونیورسٹی میں ہم سے روز ڈیمانڈ کرتے تھے کہ لڑکیوں کو یا پنجرے میں آپ نے بند کر رکھا ہے, کہ پنجرا ٹوٹنا چاہیے اپنے کر کے. اور ہر ڈیمانڈ کے ساتھ لڑکیاں ہمارے ساتھ آتی تھیں نئے نئے, اور ہم لوگ اس کو چیلنجز کو مطلب یوز ٹو فیس دوز چیلنجز. اے میں بھی شاید وہ چیلنجز ہوتے ہوں گے اور فیس کرتے ہوں گے. تو یہ ایک کنٹینیوس پروسیس ہے, آن گوئنگ پروسیس ہے. سر سید سے لے کے اور 1898 میں سر سید کی ڈیتھ ہوئی ہے, تو آج 100 سال ہو گئے. سر سید کی پیدائش کو 200 سال ہو گئے, یونیورسٹی کو بنے ہوئے 100 سال ہو گئے. تو اس سارے پروسیس میں جو گروتھ ہوئی ہے, اور جو بھی پروفیسر نعیمہ نے بتایا کتنا کام کر رہی ہیں, کتنا اسکل کے ذریعے امپاورمنٹ کر رہی ہیں, ایجوکیشن کے ذریعے امپاورمنٹ کر رہی ہیں, تربیت کے ذریعے امپاورمنٹ کر رہی ہیں, اکنامک انڈیپینڈنس کے ذریعے امپاورمنٹ کر رہی ہیں. تو یہ سارا کام چل رہا ہے, اور مجھے پوری امید ہے کہ آگے اور آگے بڑھے گا, اور آگے بڑھ کے یہ کامیاب ہوگا. تو یہ سر سید نے لڑکیوں کی تعلیم کے لیے کیا کیا, کیا کہا, جیسے پروفیسر نعیمہ نے کہا کہ ان کی فیملی کے حالات اور شیخ عبداللہ کی فیملی کے حالات اور دوسرے لوگوں نے بھی مثالیں دیکھ کر, تو یہ وہ حالات کو دیکھتے ہوئے جو 18ویں صدی کے حالات تھے, یعنی 19ویں صدی کے حالات تھے, سوری 19th سینچری کے, اور اب ہم 21st سینچری میں ہیں. تو comparisons will be odious, comparison will not be justified. If we are comparing 21st century with the 19th century and post 1857 with post 1947 and now 2021, I don't think the comparisons will justify. ابھی 2 کتابیں حال فی الحال میں آئی ہیں, شافق ادوئی صاحب کی کتاب آئی ہے سر سید کے اوپر, کل یہ مجھے ڈاک سے پروفیسر افتخار اعظم صاحب کی کتاب ملی ہے جو سر سید کے رفقائے کے اوپر ہے. آپ پڑھیے, دیکھیے کس طریقے سے یہ تحریک آگے بڑھ رہی ہے, روز بروز مضبوط ہو رہی ہے, اور اس کے ذریعے کتنی وومن امپاورمنٹ ہوئی ہے. سر سید کے کوئی بھی خیالات اس وقت ہوں, وہ خیالات ڈائنامک تھے, اسٹیٹک نہیں تھے. تحریک کے خیالات بھی ڈائنامک تھے, موومنٹ کے خیالات بھی ڈائنامک تھے, مشن بھی آگے بڑھتا گیا, اور اس کی سب ایمبوڈیمنٹ میں یہ ساری خواتین یہاں موجود ہیں. تو اس سے آج یہ دیکھ کے میں بہت آپٹیمسٹک نوٹ پہ اپنی بات کو ختم کر رہا ہوں. سب کو مبارکباد دے رہا ہوں, خاص طور سے تمام اسپیکرس کو اور پارٹیسپینٹ کو کہ اتنے امپورٹنٹ ڈسکشنس میں انہوں نے اپنا وقت دیا, ہماری اس چھوٹی سی کاوش کو سراہا और तमाम स्पीकर्स को जिन्होंने अपने अपने ख्यालात को, अपने तजुर्बात को, अपनी ज़िंदगी के हालात बताकर दूसरों के लिए एक सोर्स ऑफ एनकरेजमेंट बनाया। एंड आई थिंक lot more young girls will follow them and we will see more and more such talented girls in our community. अब मैं फाइनली एक दरख्वास्त करके अपनी बात खत्म कर दूंगा। जिसके भी आर्टिकल्स हैं ये, डॉक्टर नईमा, सलमा जाफरी, सना, मरियम फौजिया एंड सादिया, आप हमें भेज दीजिए, हम पूरी कोशिश करके छाप पाएंगे और अपने न्यूज़ लेटर में तो यकीनन छापेंगे इसके उसको। तो काइंडली Dr. Halima Saadia, please collect all those articles. We'll publish them. And they are all very, very, very inspiring. Really on the real life examples, role models, and which will be useful for others who could not attend this program. At least they will read in our news magazine. We'll put them on our website also, so larger audience can read them and can benefit from these thoughts and their experiences. Thank you very much, and happy good day and happy Diwali in advance to all of you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, and for your encouraging words. Now we will give 5 minutes time to our distinguished guests, those who are here. If they want to add or contribute or ask any questions, they are most welcome. Hariander ji is here, Ilyas sir is there, Arif Hussain, Javed Khan, Professor Abdul Qayyum Sahab, Fahad Haq, Rana Jamil Sahiba. Rana Jamil Sahiba तो अलीगढ़ की बहुत बड़ी फैन है क्योंकि उन्होंने सारी पढ़ाई अलीगढ़ से की है। तो राना, क्या आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगी? डॉक्टर राना जमील, आर यू देयर? कनेक्टिविटी का कुछ इशू है?
दिल्ली में बारिश हो रही है तो इंटरनेट की बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है।
जी। और नसीम नोमानी साहब है यहाँ पे। तो नाउ द प्लेटफॉर्म इज फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू इफ somebody wants to say. समीना नसरीन साहबा ने अपना लिख दिया है, कांग्रेचुलेशंस प्रोफेसर नईमा मैम फॉर नाइस वर्क शी इज डूइंग फॉर विमेन एम्पावरमेंट। जी नसीमा साहबा, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगी?
कनेक्टिविटी की प्रॉब्लम्स हैं।
I think connectivity problem है। Okay. So thank you very much everyone once again.
So, Dr. Halima, I have also raised my hand to say something.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, never mind. Thank you very much for allowing me. It was a real good experience today to listen to these gentle ladies and their own experiences in respect of Aligarh and its contribution to their lives. I also, being one of the Aligarhians, I really enjoyed listening to them, especially because of the fact that they are the ladies who studied there long back and they have been carrying the legacy of being Aligarhian. You know, nowadays there has been a trend, you may not be aware yourself, that people are now being shy of reflecting their association with AMU because of various reasons. So probably during that time when they were the students, the glory of AMU was known the world over. And now that the things are not in that shape, perhaps the people have been, you know, in the realm of hiding their identity in that respect. But today I was enlightened by the fact that so many women, and they have so much expression to explain their affiliation and proud that they have in their heart. And the two books, Madam Salma Jafri, who could show to us, probably we would get hold of those two books and would read her writings. Madam Salma Jafri, I would like to tell you that Sayyid Naqi Hussain Jafri was my most immediate neighbor in Mujib Bagh in Jamia Millia Islamia. And I had the privilege of being with him for quite a long time, and we shared our day and nights together, being the most immediate neighbor. हमारा और उनका दरवाजा आमने सामने था, एक ही फ्लोर पे। तो हमने वो उनके साथ जो वक्त गुजारा वो काफ़ी खूबसूरत था। और बहुत अच्छे एक्सपीरियंसेस रहे, और हमने उनके बच्चों को छोटे पर से लेकर के और अब तक, और नकी हुसैन जाफरी साहब के अंदर भी अलिगेरियन होने की खूबियां बदरज अतम मौजूद थी। और सज्जादा नशी होना और बुजुर्गी वो अपनी जगह थी, लेकिन अलिगेरियन की जो सिफात थी वो वाकई उनकी जिंदगी में पूरे तौर पे भरी हुई थी। मैं आप सबके सामने ये भी कहना चाहूंगा कि अल्लाह ताला ने मुझे भी 3 बेटियों का बाप बनाया है, और
कैसा था प्रोग्राम
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
आपका?
उन्होंने भी अपने एम्पावरमेंट के लिए और समाज के अंदर भी वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट के लिए जो मेहनत की है वो
Excellent.
काबिल तारीफ है। और
बहुत
जो
excellent.
कुछ भी है, ख्वाजा शाहिद साहब ने अभी एक नाम लिया,
Very good.
पिंजरा तोड़, उसमें हमारी बेटी पिंजरा
हाँ,
तोड़ के जो टॉप मोस्ट एक्लॉन है उसमें वो बिलोंग
हाँ।
करती है। And at one point of time, she represented Pinjara Tod at the national level when there was a symposium on the the communalization of the COVID-19, and she had herself made a report of around 40 pages about the communalization of COVID-19, and the report was inaugurated and published in a press conference in the presence of Uma Chakravarti and Tista Sitalwad and likes of them. So they have been really doing well, and I'm really thankful to Khwaja Shahid Saab as well as Dr. Halima Sadia and the other ladies who could speak out their heart, and they enlightened about the Sir Sayyid's contribution in the empowerment of women. Thank you very much for that, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Abdul Qayyum Sahab. And it was really needed, somebody's motivation and encouragement for all of us. Thank you very much for your encouraging words. Khaja Sahab, now I think we have to wind up the meeting. Unmute कर लीजिए खुद को सर. Please unmute कर लीजिए खुद को.
Khwaja Sahab, unmute yourself, sir.
बस मैं फिर वही शुक्रिया के अल्फाज कह सकता हूँ, और मेरे पास कोई अल्फाज ही नहीं है। शुक्रिया 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 फिर शुक्रिया, बार बार शुक्रिया सबका। और ख्वातीन का शुक्रिया करना तो सर झुका के शुक्रिया करना होता है। वी हैव टू बो बिफोर देम, तो हम सर झुका के आई हैव टू बो माई सेल्फ बिफोर ऑल दिस लर्नेड लेडीज। और मैं यही कहूँगा कि अपने अपने मज़ामीन काइंडली मुझे ईमेल कर दें, और मैं इनको ज़रूर छापूंगा अपने न्यूज़लेटर में, अपने वेबसाइट पे डालूंगा, और दूसरे जितने मीडियम है। हमारी एक एजुकेशन कॉन्फ्रेंस होने वाली है, और उसमें भी बस उसको न्यूज़लेटर में डाल के उसको बटवाऊंगा उसको वहाँ पे। 13-14 नवंबर को दिल्ली में हमदर्द यूनिवर्सिटी में हम एक एजुकेशन कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे हैं। आपके अगर मज़ामीन आ जाएंगे तो मैं अपने न्यूज़लेटर में छपा के उसको वहाँ बटवा भी दूंगा उसको। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. It was lovely interacting with you, and may Allah bless us and accept our good deeds. With this, we come to the end of today's wonderful webinar, and see you all very soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.